Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Horizon. Well, when it comes to the weather, Oklahoma is a hub of activity even when there's not a storm cloud in sight. From tornado research to the latest in weather technology, you can't find a place where there are more people who know more and care more about the weather than right here at home. Joining me now is our Keela Kellen.
Well, Rob, following the weather is not just a favorite pastime for many Oklahomans. It is also a high-stakes business where millions of dollars can be at risk, which is why people from around the country gathered in Oklahoma City for the National Storm Summit. When the skies opened up and dark clouds were seen on the horizon,
you're helpless. You know, you can't do anything.
Jim Melvichek had few choices.
See?
Run
the sidewalk
or hide.
Built around the tree. Went right downstairs in the basement and just knelt down, and then it just hammered us. And I was scared.
A little worse the wear, Melvichek's home survived the twister.
A piece of a metal roof of a building somewhere came through my kitchen window there.
But with uprooted trees and repairs to be made, storm season can be a scary time, especially if not prepared. Which is why a National Storm Summit was held in Oklahoma City.
We've had some historic amounts of weather in the last decade in Oklahoma and throughout the Midwest. And so certainly it's not a question of if a storm is going to impact the Midwest, it's when and where. So again, this Tornado Summit brings a lot of people together to help in the awareness aspect and bring general awareness to the public. We're getting ready for spring storm season, so it's critical to continue to heighten awareness of this important issue.
It's making a tornado. Do you know why it's doing that?
John Weiscover of Oklahoma Farm Bureau Insurance helped to bring the summit to Oklahoma and says it's important to be ready when severe weather hits.
In Oklahoma, we've had the toughest 10 years from a catastrophe standpoint ever, and many of those events have been tornadoes. It's really critical for Oklahomans, but all people that potentially are impacted by tornadoes, which can occur in any of the United States, to be aware, better aware of it, better prepared, and also what to do if you're in the path of a tornado, and then also certainly helping us as an industry better help people respond and help that recovery process.
But even the preparations can't keep Mother Nature at bay. Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner John Doak.
Last year was just tremendous. If you think about it, we had tornadoes and wildfires all across the state of Oklahoma. Tornadoes, 90 homes destroyed in Woodward, Oklahoma, in relatively 2.5 minutes, what it took for that to happen. We had tornado outbreaks in Norman, microbursts there, Norman, Piedmont, Tushka. We've had them all across the state of Oklahoma. Coupled with that is we had over 100,000 acres burned by Oklahoma wildfires last year. So the impact of insurance is really huge in the state of Oklahoma. The claims have been really probably approaching probably close to $1 billion last year. And then the year before that, you had the Joplin tornadoes right across the border in Missouri. So our corridor, we know it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we're going to have bad weather.
A certainty that everyone here agrees often can't be avoided, but can be prepared for.
The best thing for Oklahoma consumers can do is, one, they need to know what their policy says in case they have a total claim or a loss due to severe weather. And if they're in rural Oklahoma and they have their home paid off, one of the things they need to think about is making sure that they have a good insurance policy on that, because most Americans, their single largest asset, and Oklahomans, is their home.
Which is why making sure you're covered and protecting your home can often be the key to staying safe. While people have discussed the weather forever, it is only in the last century or so that the cost of these events has been measured in terms of loss of life and property damage. For instance, the drought that began in 2010 is estimated to have cost the state over $2 billion in the last 2 years.
So in terms of economic impact, where does this latest drought that hopefully recent rains will put a damper on, where does it stack up monetarily?
Well, Rob, while the drought certainly was significant, it pales in comparison to some other disasters. But there are a couple of Oklahoma weather events that did make a top 10 list in terms of costs, and I have a link to those events on this week's Horizon blog, where I describe my firsthand experience of what it is like to have your home destroyed.
And that is certainly an interesting story that I think everyone is going to want to read. Thank you so much, Keila.
You're welcome, Rob.
Now, you can read that story and see much more on our website at okhorizon.com, including a story about a Norman-based company that's earned a reputation for its own weather prediction. Now, when we return, an Oklahoma business that saves lives.